now your host, Mr. Swisslaki.
Welcome to the show. I'm happy you can join me again this week. I'll be talking with Mark Michelson, former student, musician, repair technician. Our conversation will be coming up in a moment. But first, a few reminders. We will not have any Zoom classes on Monday in observance of the Memorial Day holiday. In addition, this week is our last week of online Zoom sessions, so there will be no new material for you after this week. And finally, we're going to have our big fun Zoom day coming up that first week in June. I'll be sending you information soon, but we'll have our drawing, we'll play a few games. I'm going to mix up all the periods, so all the 6th grade bands will be together, all the 7th grade bands will be together during another time. It'll just be a good time. Totally optional, but I hope you can attend because it will be a lot of fun. All right, coming up after the break, my conversation with Mark Michelson. I would like to welcome former student Mark Michelson to the show. Mark, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing? It's good to see you.
I'm feeling good. It's good to see you all growing up. So I want to give my students and my audience a background. So when did you attend Lamouth, and what instrument did you play, and when did you graduate from Riverside? Go ahead.
Okay, so I started 6th grade in 2001. So that was 01 to 02, 7th grade, obviously 02 to 03. I played the trumpet, and I graduated from Riverside in 2008. Went to Lakeland for a couple of years, got my gen eds out of the way. That was done in 2010. I went to Cleveland State from 2010 to 2013, and I did music education.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
Well, obviously, we can all see what's behind you there. So either you have a great basement full of tools, or you are outside at Arrowhead Music.
Yeah.
So what do you do at Arrowhead Music?
Well, I'm actually at my house. I have a probably 600 or 700 square foot shop that I repair all the brass instruments that come through the door at Arrowhead, whether if it's school-owned instruments through band directors or customers or any of our rental stock. Pretty much any brass instrument that comes through the door, I'm the guy that does the work on them. So
and you also teach lessons, don't you?
Yeah. I teach trumpet all the way down to tuba on occasion. Private lessons at the store, and I also work on the sales floor too.
Yeah, because I figure you're going to be a familiar face to some of my students, at least, who either take lessons with you or maybe come inside the store with their mom and dad.
Yeah.
Drop off an instrument or get a fix. So that's great. And I remember, gosh, 2001 is a long time ago that you were with me, but you were one of the few trumpets that could play those high notes really well. I remember your range was fantastic as a middle school student. So putting you on first part was simple.
I have you to thank for that.
You're too generous, but I will take all compliments easily. So I guess what I'm wondering is, how did your experience at Lamouth Middle School or Riverside help you decide on your career path? As far as what you decided to major on in college and what you're doing now.
Well, I think Lamouth showed me that music can be something that I can be good at. Show me that it could be fun, thanks to you, but there was something about it that like all my other classes, there's homework and assignments and everything, and in band there's homework and assignments too, but it didn't really feel like a chore. It didn't really feel like homework. It was just okay, get through the math homework, get through the English stuff, and then now it's time to practice. It was fun. So it didn't feel like work. It was just, it was a good time.
I agree. When I was looking at what I wanted to do when I grew up, I figured this was a lot of fun, and I could see myself doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you took the same path.
In Riverside, it really kind of gave me just more opportunities to kind of hone my skills, develop them. There was more bands that you could be in. I think by the time I was in my senior year, I think I was only required to take like 2 classes. So most of my friends would like, show up for those 2 classes and then just, go home. I I stayed there all day and I took every music class that I could possibly take. Even, if I had a study hall, I would go down to the band room and practice. I'd try and fill up as many things as I could. So when I wasn't practicing, I was in band, and when I wasn't in band, I was practicing. And when I would get tired of practicing, towards the end of the school year, I think probably my senior year, Mr. Schwartz actually, he could tell that I wanted something more to do, or maybe I was just bugging him too many times, but he actually let me kind of, I wouldn't say repair, but more like maintain some of the instruments. As a trumpet player, I would look at like a French horn and I would see all these tubes and everything and all the little rotor valves. And I'd be like, wow, that's really cool. Can I, mess around with this? And, he let me, like grease the slides and oil the valves and restring some horns and everything. And so that kind of showed me like, oh, this is pretty cool, and
Like piqued your interest.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't necessarily, you either have to be in an orchestra or you have to be a band director. It was something else about it that, it was interesting to me. So
That's a good point, and it shows that, instead of doing the bare minimum, you found your passion and you found extra things to do that your senior year.
Yeah.
Speaking of all those activities, what classes and activities were you glad that you joined? And then was there anything that you regret not doing as a student?
In Lamouth, I think it was called the Really Big Band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there was, there's big bands, but then this was like the really big band because I don't know how many people there were in, but it's probably like 10 trumpets and it was ridiculous. But that was really
standard instrumentation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was really awesome. And we used to wear those fedoras and everything. That was really cool. Do you guys still do the medieval fair?
Oh, that we haven't done that for a few years, but I remember that was Mrs. Nahamik, I think, who headed that.
Yeah,
and
So in the medieval, I remember
it's gone. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember I made like a little tabletop trebuchet. And it could throw a grape like 20 feet or something, but like it was me making something with my hands and, figuring out all the intricacies and everything. And it was really fun. At Riverside, just they had the jazz band and the marching band and the wind ensemble and the pep band. And, I think Mr. Schwartz even let me play French horn, in some of the, beginner bands. And then I think I did men's choir too with Mr. Obergefell. That was fun. Yeah. Just going on band trips and that kind of thing. There were some other extracurricular things I did, specifically Cleveland Youth Wind Symphony with Dan Crane and Melissa Lickler. Well, back then it was Gary Seapluck. Now it's Dan Crane. Yeah. Jazz Impact with Ed Michaels. That was awesome. Yeah, it was really awesome.
What was you regret not doing then? Because it sounds like you did a lot of stuff. But was there anything that you wish you would have done either in middle school or high school?
I found out about CYWS my junior year, and by then it was already kind of too late to join it.
Okay.
I wish I would have done that sooner. Playing concerts in Severance Hall, and that was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done when I was in high school. Even still to this day, I haven't played in Severance Hall, but I played there when I was in high school. But yeah, that was really cool. I'd say probably not doing that sooner.
Well, I know Arrowhead, they service a lot of different schools and communities, so you're probably pretty busy. But do you perform, in any groups or as a soloist sometime?
Yeah, I'm the trumpet player in a band called Funkology.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got the name because I'd say probably 3/4 of us are some form of music teacher, and we play it kind of all over the Cleveland area. I've been in that group for about 2 years now. It's probably going on my third year. Obviously, not playing too many gigs right now, but
Sure.
yeah. And then I get the occasional Easter and Christmas gig. As a trumpet player, your favorite holidays are Easter and Christmas because that's when all the gigs are. But yeah, I play out. So
Cool. Now, Funkology, are they like more of like a jazz fusion or a rock or just a whole bunch of stuff?
probably a whole bunch of stuff. We do anything from 50s, 60s, all the way up through today. Just because our name is Funkology, I mean, we play R&B, we do some classic rock, a lot of 80s stuff. It's really fun.
Great, cool. Which famous musicians do you admire or have influenced your trumpet playing?
As far as my trumpet playing goes, I have a soft spot in my heart for kind of 50s, 60s jazz. Trumpet players like Lee Morgan, Clifford Brown, Nat Adderley, really, really harmonically and lyrically, just really awesome players. Of course, there's Miles Davis. That's another big one. But I mean, just in general, I like a lot of like probably one of my favorites is Stevie Wonder. Yeah, he's got a lot of good ones. But
Yeah.
I try and not narrow myself down to a specific type of music. I try and have a respect for just about any kind of music. So.
No, that's a good mindset because I can find enjoyable music in country and rap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pop and jazz stuff, but there's going to be good and bad in every genre, and I think that's a good open mind to have when you're approaching music.
Yeah, and going to school for that kind of thing, you're exposed to lots of different genres, and you learn about the history of certain types of music, and you develop a greater appreciation for it, and you can listen to just about anything, and as long as it's written well or it's enjoyable. So.
Well, before we wrap things up, I wanted to know if there's any piece of advice you'd like to give to my students with your experience and knowledge in the field.
I would say, if you want to be good at something, like if you really want to take the time and be good at something, it takes work. Just because you like doing something, no matter what it is, just because you like doing something doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good at it from the beginning. I went to school for music and all along the way, it was like, oh my goodness, I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And it's really easy to get frustrated, when you have something that you like doing and then you find out, you got some work to do at it. But I think if you like something enough that you should be willing to work hard at it. Doesn't mean it's going to be. It's not necessarily going to ruin that passion, but I think if you like it enough, you should be willing to work for it. Learn as much as you can. Be a sponge.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very good advice. Well, Mark, it was a pleasure talking to you again and catching up.
Yeah.
I hope you're the best. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mark Michelson and Funkology.
She was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. I said, don't mind, but what do you mean? I am the one who would dance on the floor in the round. She said, I am the one who would dance on the floor in the round. People always told me, be careful what you do.
that's our show this week. I'd like to thank Mark Michelson for talking with me and Funkology for their performance. And before we go, I just want to make sure we remember all of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to this country. And send a special thank you to the veterans. And make sure that we remember and pray for those men and women still in active duty either at home or abroad, making sure that our democracy never dies. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.